All right, well, we're going to talk about ways to participate in the currency markets. And the first one is something called arbitrage, which means buying low so you can sell high and make a profit. And before you get too excited, big banks have got their computers programmed to seize any arbitrage opportunity, no matter how tiny. So these arbitrage opportunities disappear in little nanoseconds right now. But anyway, we'll talk about the general principle because certainly it does still exist. Let's think about so buying low means that there must be at least two markets. So suppose we have a market for the pound in New York and a market for the pound in London. So we have two separate markets, could be two exchanges, and that on the New York market, the dollar price of the pound is say 1.95 long time ago, and then the dollar price of the pound in London is how about 1.96. So we have a difference in price, which leads to the opportunity for a profitable arbitrage. So what you would obviously do is go to the place where pounds are cheap, which is in New York, pay $1.95 for a pound in New York, and then you could take the pound to London or ship it to London and sell it for 1.96. So we would have a movement of pounds from people buying the pound in New York and then shipping them to London, where they would be sold for a profit. And then so you would make, initially you would make a profit equal to 1 cent, a penny per pound. And then you can see too that you bid away the opportunity for further profit though, because the pound was cheap in New York, so people start buying it. By buying the pound, you bid up the price of the pound, so it'll go up from 1.95, and then by selling the pound in London where it was expensive, you will put an extra supply of pounds on the market, and then you'll push down the price of the pound, and so these prices will move into equality eventually. So we'll start to see them move together through time. And if there's zero transportation costs, then arbitrage will cause the prices to come into equality, and if there's a tiny transportation cost or something, if this is the old days, then there could exist a small difference between prices. But with computerized trading, of course, there's no transportation cost with currencies. So arbitrage does this very useful thing, which it ensures that a common price is established for something that is identical across all markets. So that's just regular arbitrage. And then, as your book talks about, there's a second type of arbitrage called triangular arbitrage, which involves three currencies. And triangular arbitrage works to ensure that cross rates are consistent. So let's add another currency to our mix, and then we'll need another center. So we'll have New York. How about Frankfurt, the German? Oh, New London. I think that was a thing, wasn't it, at one point? So New York, London, and Frankfurt. Frankfurt in Germany, and then London. So we have three markets, and let's have some prices. How about in New York, the dollar price of the pound? These are more realistic numbers, say 1.20. Frankfurt, let's look at a price like the euro price of the pound. And how about we make that 1.20? And then once we know what two of these exchange rates are, if cross rates are consistent, then that automatically determines what the third will be. So we'll talk about what that should be assuming these two are going to prevail. Consistent cross rates actually will end up with a euro price of the dollar equal to 1, but I'll show you why that is, and then then we'll mess around with this and make it not consistent so we can think about how inconsistent cross rates disappear. So if we have the dollar price of the pound, and let's just divide it by the euro price of the pound. Those are two things we know if we were trying to figure out what the price of the dollar would be in London. So we have the euro price of the pound. We can rewrite that. So that's identical to writing the dollar price of the pound. So we're going to multiply by the pound price of the euro. And so these pounds cancel out. So that's the same thing as saying the dollar price of the euro. So the dollar price of the euro is just the ratio of the dollar price of the pound, which is 120, and the euro price of the pound, which is also 120. So that's how we end up with 1 for the this thing here. So those are the consistent cross rates. And then let's just sort of spoil things by let's just change one of these for simplicity. Let's just say that this isn't actually 1, that it just turns out we wake up one morning and it turns out that this is actually only 95 centimes or whatever. I don't know what I guess it's cents for the division of the euro. So we have London, the euro price of the dollar is only 0.95. Let's pretend we're an investor. We want to start and end in euros. We want to make some money, and we're going to start in euros and end up in euros. So what do you think that somebody should do? Like, which market should they start in? Make a profit in euros at the end. Okay, so let's imagine buying, so step 1, let's buy $100, 100 US dollars in London. How much would that cost us? Okay, well, the euro price of the dollar is 0.95, so if we want $100, that's going to cost us 95 euros. All right, so now we have $100. Let's go and sell those dollars in New York. So we sell $100 in New York in exchange for the pound, and that's going to bring in a certain amount of pounds. So we've got $100, and the exchange rate is a dollar price. The pound is 1.20. So that's going to bring in $100 divided by 1.20. So it's 100 divided by 1.20. I know that's a mess. That ends up actually being 83.33 pounds. So take 100 divided by 1.20. You'll get 83 pounds, 83.33 pounds. And then off we go to Frankfurt, where we are going to sell these pounds, so we can end up back in the euro, where we're going to realize our profit. So we sell 83.33 pounds in Frankfurt. And then, so we sell 83.33 pounds in Frankfurt for euros. 83.33 times 1.20, that's going to give us, let's see, that's actually, so that's about 100 approximately. Well, with rounding, I mean, this would be 100. So we end up with 100 euros. So we started out with 95 euros and we ended up with 100. So we made a €5 profit on this transaction where we were buying $100. So that actually ends up at about a little over 5% profit. And the other thing to notice too, though, is that this can't continue, because we are already putting pressure on these exchange rates to bid away this profitable opportunity. So we buy the dollar in London where it's cheap, but that makes the dollar rise. We sell the dollar, and you know, where we can get a lot of pounds for it. So we're buying the pound, so that's going to make the pound rise here in New York. And then we're selling the pound, so the pound's going to fall in Frankfurt. Of course, that makes the euro rise. So these pressures that are put on the exchange rates in the three different financial centers will eventually cause the inconsistency in cross rates to go away. And obviously there's pressure being put in all three financial centers, so it's not going to be the case that the price in London just jumps up to 1. It's nice and tidy. So there'll be pressure in all three markets, but consistent cross rates in the absence of transportation costs for currency will prevail because of the people buying and selling currencies in various centers. So in addition to consistency across two markets for one currency, we will also see consistency among cross rates. And again, computers are well equipped and better than us at finding these opportunities and taking advantage of them. All right, so that's arbitrage. It's riskless, and that's one of the ways to participate in foreign exchange markets. The other two are speculation and hedging, and that is the subject for the next video.